Kool-Aid, but I just don't see a second-year slump for Jayden Daniels. Marcus, what are your expectations for Jayden as he heads into year 2?
I don't see one either, Boogie. I 100% agree with you. And it's not because usually when we talk about these quarterbacks, and the reason why we talked about C.J. Stroud after his rookie year, because of the processing and how fast they were able to play from their mind. So if he's getting smarter, I expect him to be the best quarterback in the NFC East. And I know Dak Prescott is here in Dallas and has a longer tenure, but we see the things that Jayden Daniels can do off script, which adds to a lot of his ability. But it was funny, I was thinking about last year when we got this question for the show today. We didn't talk about Jayden Daniels' legs. We didn't talk about all of the crazy plays that he made. We talked about his clutch, ability to push the football down the field, his ability to move the football with his arm. And those are the things that we got so excited about. And that's the things that we should be excited about coming into the second year. Yes, all of those things are additives, and he does them well. He's fast, breakaway speed. You can run some quarterback run with him. But Jayden Daniels was dominant from the pocket. He was dominant from extending plays and throwing the ball downfield, which should give a lot of people in Washington, D.C. a lot of excitement about his growth and where they can be and potentially be next year.
There's no doubt that there's excitement in Washington, D.C. among the fan base, but also on the team. They believe that Jayden Daniels will continue his upward ascent, and that's what they did this offseason, was put pieces around him and make sure that continued. We didn't expect a sophomore slump from C.J. Stroud, but he had a little bit of one because they couldn't protect him. The offensive line fell apart. So what Washington has done is try and do things to help the protection. Ironically, they got Houston's left tackle, so we'll see how that goes. But they also had Deebo Samuel, who will be a helpful factor in building out the short passing game. They didn't do a lot of that throws at or behind the line of scrimmage last year in Washington. That has been a staple of Cliff Kingsbury offenses. Jayden Daniels should be able to execute it better with a receiver like Deebo Samuel. The reference earlier in the comments about the same offensive coordinator, continuity on the coaching staff heading into year 2, so he can keep building with that. All the signs are there for a team that went much farther than anyone expected them to last year to continue that ascent. Remember, Dan Quinn had the Falcons in the Super Bowl in his second year as their head coach. So expectations in Washington are as high as they are anywhere.
Good reminder. Graz, I'm glad you brought up Deebo Samuel, too, because I want to ask Hawk about him. Hawk, with the addition of Deebo, how do you see Cliff Kingsbury utilizing him in the offense?
Yeah, it's going to be an asset to Jayden Daniels because it's going to give them another element that they didn't use last year, to Graz's point, those at the line of scrimmage throws, quick throws out of your hand, turn short throws into long throws. It really becomes almost like an extension of the run game. If Jayden Daniels has that at his disposal to get the ball, get it out of his hands, and get it on the perimeter, and even if Deebo Samuel, like, say what you want about where he is in his yak development in his age, him catching a ball, getting 6, 7, 5 yards, again, it's the equivalent of a really good run play, and it's a highly productive and probable way to get the ball out of Jayden Daniels' hands. So get him rhythm, get Deebo Samuels moving around, even put him in the backfield is a whole different element to this offense.
Okay. They keep saying Deebo's name wrong, and it's okay. See, everyone can say other people's names wrong, even a popular player that everyone knows. But yeah, that's the whole thing, right? Is that it can add an extension to the run game that the Washington Commanders desperately need. Because I think when you have Jayden Daniels, the type of quarterback that he is, him being this kind of just Swiss Army, can just kind of do a little bit of everything type of situation. When you add another clear, concrete component to the offense that a defense is going to have to now factor in more regularly, it just becomes a synergistic effect for all of the other aspects of your offense. And when you have a great offensive coordinator who knows how to balance that, combined with a quarterback who's going to understand how to dangle that in front of the defenses, like I would always joke about, with some of these RPOs, or even if we're just talking about, a mobile quarterback who's kind of, Jayden Daniels did this very well last year. I was very impressed. The whole kind of when you get a defensive player kind of stuck in this middle, where they're on this island, where it's just kind of like the defensive player has to decide, am I going to try to go after the quarterback right here because I think he's about to run, or I still kind of have to cover who I'm covering, and you kind of get caught in between. And Jayden Daniels did a beautiful job at just constantly baiting these guys and not knowing, where you're going to go. And in a lot of ways, when you add kind of another weapon like Debo, it's another layer of that. Obviously, it's going to be executed much differently, but just in terms of just kind of like, you have no idea what we're about to run here. And the beauty of it all is that there's so many plays that we can run that look similar to each other, but the execution and what we're actually trying to accomplish look wildly different. And we see Andy Reid and Mahomes do this. We saw the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts do this. It's just you have so many of these offensive plays that look like you're going to do one thing, and throughout the game you do right. You do play A, and now you line up exactly like you did last time for play A, and it's like, okay, it's going to be play A, but nope, it's not even play B, it's play C. And it all gets set up, and it's beautiful. Like I said, we saw this so much with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs did a lot of that against the Buffalo Bills. And it leads into walk-in touchdowns, like just easy gimme plays. And the reality is, you see lots of teams try to do this, but the quarterback, the offense as a whole is just like it's just not executed as well. It doesn't lead to just the defense just being like, oh man, we have no idea what's going on. And when you have the right coach and the right quarterback in those positions, and you have obviously the pieces and the types of players that can add a lot of versatility to your game, it really, to me, all, especially really the coach, actually more than the quarterback, even more than even Jayden Daniels in this moment, is just the coach's ability to understand kind of when it's the time and place to kind of do some of these things, when it's the time and place to be creative, and then then you're just putting the ball into Jayden's hands to either make the decision himself, which then that does obviously fall square on the shoulders of Jayden, or when you're making that call as a coach to being like, we're gonna pretend like we're doing one thing, but we're gonna do the other. And to be clear, like, it's not like a trick play. It's just kind of like, some of these, like, a stereotypical example is really just a traditional RPO. And so I just think, again, it's just will add another layer to this offense that the Commanders desperately needed. Because think about when they were in the playoffs, especially versus the Bucs, they were trapped. They didn't have the ability to ever really throw off the defense in any type of way that made them feel like, you don't know what we're about to do. You don't know what to do. It's like, no, we know exactly what you're going to try to do, and you're going to fail to do it. And that's why they're like, okay, let's have a play where we have like Jayden Daniels and Mariota. Like, it was just like, it was all hands on deck to just try to like do anything. There was such that burden, especially on Jayden Daniels, to just like, please try to find a way to just get us those 3-4 yards, or, whatever we need in that moment. And it's a lot. And so just adding someone like a Debo, it really corrects that pretty much instantly. The only thing that confused me by this segment was that they said that they didn't have a lot of passes at or around the line of scrimmage, and that's just not true. Jayden Daniels was also top 7 in screen passes, so not really sure what they meant. And I believe Hawk, he was a pretty big Jayden Daniels fan, so I have to imagine he watched a lot of those games. So like, I don't know where they're pulling that from. That doesn't really make any sense to me, honestly. And in the top 10, for most attempts for screen passes, he had the second lowest yards per attempt. So he did his fair share of that. I'm definitely thrown off by that. So yeah, I mean, unless I'm missing something, or I'm messing things up, because definitely let me know. But yeah, all in all, though, I just think it'll be executed a lot more successfully, and in a way that really opens the door for a lot more explosive plays, and utilized in a way that feels more intentionally aggressive, rather than this is the best we have in this moment, right? It's just something that gives you more options to be selective in any given moment rather than maybe more of a reliance of something. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jayden Daniels and how this offense can transform with even just adding a piece like a Debo? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.